She didn't just wear diamonds, she made them unforgettable. For Princess Diana, jewelry wasn't decoration, it was a reflection of grace, purpose, and presence. Every diamond she wore carried meaning, and every piece helped shape the legacy she left behind. But some of her most iconic jewels were never fully understood. Until now. Long before it became one of the most recognized engagement rings in the world, it was simply Diana's favorite shade of blue. A deep, 12-carat Ceylon sapphire, encircled by 14 brilliant cut diamonds, all set in 18-carat white gold. She didn't choose it because it was royal, she chose it because it felt right. Designed by the House of Gerard, the piece wasn't custom-made or hidden in a royal vault. It came from a public catalog, something any bride could technically buy. That decision alone broke tradition, just like Diana herself often would. At the time, it raised eyebrows. Today, it's priceless. After Diana's passing, the ring passed quietly from Prince Harry to Prince William, who would later use it to propose to Kate Middleton. With that single gesture, it transformed from a memory into a new chapter, now gracing the hand of the Princess of Wales. Worn at royal banquets, global tours, and family portraits, the sapphire hasn't just survived, it has redefined royal love for a new generation. But as iconic as it is, this ring is only the beginning. Because some of Diana's boldest pieces weren't made to celebrate love, they were made to reclaim power. It was never just a necklace, it was a message the whole world could read. The iconic sapphire and pearl choker, once a royal brooch, was transformed into something far more personal by Diana herself. Featuring 7 strands of pearls anchored by a striking sapphire and diamond centerpiece, this bold piece made headlines not just for its beauty, but for its timing. When Prince Charles publicly admitted to his affair, Diana didn't say a word. Instead, she arrived at a gala in a sleek black evening gown, now known as the revenge dress, and this exact necklace gracing her collarbone like a silent mic drop. It was elegance with an edge, a statement without a single syllable. Originally a wedding gift from Queen Elizabeth, the brooch had been formal, reserved, until Diana reimagined it. She wore it again in Budapest, again in London, never as an ornament, always as a reminder. This piece wasn't about sparkle, it was about power. It was about reclaiming the narrative. And as bold as it was, Diana's collection also held deeply personal pieces, small in size, but massive in meaning. Not all treasures come wrapped in diamonds. Some are strung with memories. Before palaces and state dinners, Diana wore something much simpler, a delicate gold necklace with a single D charm. It was a piece she chose herself, long before the world knew her name. She wore it as a young nursery school assistant during the earliest days of her relationship with Prince Charles. And even after becoming a royal, Diana quietly kept that necklace close. In photos years into her marriage, it would still appear, a silent reminder of who she was before the title. Then came the charm bracelet, a gift from Prince Charles. It was deeply personal, not for show, but for sentiment. Each year on her birthday, he added a new charm, a miniature St. Paul's Cathedral to mark their wedding, a W and H for their sons, a ballet slipper for her childhood dream, an apple for her love of New York, and even a wombat, William's nickname from their Australian tour. Unlike the royal heirlooms, these weren't for the cameras, they were for her. They didn't sparkle like diamonds, but they shined in a different way, as tiny golden witnesses to moments that shaped her life. And in a collection so full of public symbolism, these quiet pieces stood as her most intimate keepsakes. But as personal as they were, Diana's style was just as bold when the moment called for it. Pearls have long been seen as a symbol of purity and grace, but for Diana, they were more than tradition. They were strength, memory, and armor. Her relationship with pearls began on her 18th birthday when she received a floral clasped 3-strand pearl choker, a gift from her family. It was simple, elegant, and deeply symbolic. Her sisters, Sarah and Jane, received identical chokers on their own 18th birthdays, making the piece part of a Spencer family tradition that spanned generations. Diana wore the necklace during her honeymoon aboard the royal yacht Britannia, paired with a floral dress that mirrored the choker's gentle charm. But over time, she reimagined it to fit her evolving style. Originally adorned with turquoise stones in the clasp, Diana found the look too bold for her growing minimalist aesthetic and asked a jeweler to replace them with pearls. The new design became one of her go-to pieces, matching everything from formal suits to public ceremonies. She wore it to military parades, royal appearances, and quiet family moments. And when she passed, her sisters wore strands of pearls to her funeral, not just in mourning, but in honor. For Diana, pearls weren't just royal staples, they were part of her identity. Soft, classic, timeless, yet unshakably strong. And while pearls may have told the story of her heritage, the next piece in her collection would completely change the narrative of who she was becoming. Not every jewel in Diana's collection came from a royal vault. Some she simply found while window shopping on a quiet afternoon. In 1984, while walking down Fulham Road in London, Diana stepped into a costume jewelry store called Butler & Wilson. Among their bold and theatrical pieces, one pair of earrings immediately caught her eye. Oversized, crescent-shaped, sparkling just enough to demand attention. Price tag? Around £20, or about $29. But when she wore them to an official visit to Saudi Arabia in 1986, the press exploded. Rumors spread that the earrings had been a gift from King Khalid himself. Priceless diamonds, they claimed, personally bestowed upon her during the royal tour. Diana, always one to enjoy a bit of mischief, found the story hilarious. She never corrected the headlines. Why should she? She wore those costume earrings proudly, not because they were valuable, but because they were her. They matched her bold spirit, her sense of humor, and her love for the unexpected. They showed that glamour didn't have to come with a royal signature. In a world obsessed with titles and tradition, Diana reminded everyone that style isn't about price, it's about presence. But while some of her favorite pieces were playful, others were quietly revolutionary and far more personal than they first appeared. Diana's love for bold statements didn't always mean grandeur. Sometimes it meant architecture. In her later years, Diana began embracing a more modern, clean-cut aesthetic. Her collaboration with British designer Jessica McCormack reflected that shift. She chose designs like the button-back diamond ring and gypset pear-shaped earrings, pieces that were sleek, sculptural, and unmistakably hers. They weren't royal heirlooms. They were reflections of a woman shaping her own style. For the tourist, Diana's character wore a vintage diamond choker that may have once been a tiara. The lace-like piece shimmered like liquid light, elegant, understated, and cinematic. It later appeared at auction, blurring the line between costume and legacy. And then there was Maleficent. At the film's 2019 premiere, Diana appeared in a shimmering one-shoulder gown secured by a silver scorpion brooch. Powerful, mythic, and unexpected. It became a symbol of transformation, echoing her most complex roles and personal rebirth. These weren't just accessories, they were statements of evolution. As Diana's life shifted away from royal protocol, her jewelry shifted with her. Sharper lines, fewer rules, more story. But her most personal power? It still glittered in green and gold. Some jewels don't just shine, they shift the culture around them. At the 2009 Oscars, Diana stepped onto the red carpet wearing two pieces that would change jewelry trends overnight. a pair of 115-carat pear-shaped emerald drop earrings, and a matching emerald cocktail ring. The stones were so vivid, they appeared to float, suspended in air, glowing like water. Estimated at $2.5 million, the look reignited the world's obsession with emeralds. But it wasn't just about red carpet brilliance. Diana soon began working with Robert Prokop to create something far more intentional. The style of Jolie collection: tablet-cut emeralds, smoky spinels, golden citrines, set in warm gold and designed with purpose. All profits went to the Education Partnership for Children of Conflict, using beauty to build opportunity. Among the most legendary pieces from this collection, a 103-carat Colombian emerald necklace, now part of fashion lore, and the Smithsonian's Jolie citrine necklace, a museum-worthy statement of elegance and heart. Through these creations, Diana wasn't just redefining her style. She was creating a legacy where luxury and meaning could finally coexist. And yet, for all the emeralds, sapphires, and diamonds she wore, two pieces still stood above the rest. Not for what they were made of, but for what they represented: crowns and choices. Crowns are given, but some Diana chose for herself. When she walked down the aisle in 1981, the world expected her to wear the Queen's Lover's Knot tiara, a historic royal piece passed down from Queen Mary. But Diana declined. Instead, she wore the Spencer Tiara, a delicate diamond-encrusted heirloom from her own family. Its design was lighter, more romantic: floral scrolls and gentle curves, passed down through generations of Spencers. It was the tiara her sisters wore at their weddings. It was hers before royalty claimed her, and it stayed hers long after she left it behind. Still, Diana would eventually wear the Lover's Knot tiara at formal royal occasions. Its dramatic shape and suspended teardrop pearls became instantly iconic, but it was never truly hers. It had been loaned to her by the Queen, and after her divorce, she returned it, like so much else from her royal life. Today, the Lover's Knot is worn by Catherine, Princess of Wales. The Spencer Tiara remains in Diana's family, last seen on her niece Celia at her wedding in 2018. Two tiaras, one chosen, one assigned. And between them, the story of a woman who knew the difference and chose her crown carefully. Because in the end, Diana's jewels weren't about sparkle. They were about meaning. She wore diamonds like some werewords, with precision, with feeling, and always with purpose. To many, Princess Diana was a fashion icon, but to those who looked closer, her jewelry told a deeper story of love and loss, of duty and choice, of a woman who built her identity not through what she was given, but through what she chose to keep, transform, and wear on her own terms. Some pieces were bold, others barely whispered, but every one of them held meaning, and that's what made her collection timeless. So now the question is yours. If you could wear just one piece from Diana's private collection, which would it be, and why? Let us know in the comments. And if you want more hidden stories behind the world's most iconic jewels, don't forget to subscribe. There's so much more to reveal.